You're doing the intro.
What the fuck intro?
Just, I don't know, do whatever you do. You're the one who talks all the time.
Okay, apparently we're doing this podcasting again because Austin's bored all the time. So without further ado, for Group Therapy Part 2, my name's Justin.
I'm Austin.
I'm Aiden.
And you are listening to the Group Therapy Podcast. Cue intro music. We'll edit that in later. Hello, how's everybody doing today? Now, I understand that it's been 3 fucking years since we did a podcast. Can you believe that shit?
Really?
Really. I actually looked into it. I guess it wasn't 3. It's more like 2.5, but it was the summer of 2013.
So almost 3 years.
Almost 3 years.
If you guys had any listeners, it would matter, but...
Exactly. Exactly. Then I'd be addressing, like, real people. But...
We got like 12 views and like 4 of them were me.
And like the other 8 were Austin and
pretty much
Marshall or something like that.
Right. Anyways, so it's a new era. We have a new cast, if you will. We've shaved down a little bit because people have decided to leave us and move to more interesting parts of the country, and that's fine. So, Aiden, you are the new one. Let's just go around real quick. Aiden, where are you from? What do you do?
I am from White Lake, Michigan. It's about 13 miles west of Pontiac, Michigan. I work at a fucking gas station, which sucks. I go to school, and that's pretty much what I do.
Right on. Justin, your turn.
I'm still Justin, and I don't know. I mean, we all live in kind of the same location. I'm from West Bloomfield, Michigan, which is a suburb of Detroit, I guess, maybe.
Yeah, it is.
It's considered part of Metro Detroit.
Whatever.
I feel like White Lake's like the last one.
I feel like anybody who says that they're from a suburb of Detroit is is like trying to sound tough by proxy. But
well, we are
obviously
badass motherfuckers.
But anyway, I work at a rehab as an admitting officer, which means I'm a glorified secretary or receptionist, and going to school and transferring to Wayne pretty soon to get serious with it. And that's really about it.
Right on. Well, I make no, I guess you could call me like a guest service expert, but I'm pretty much, fuck the glorification. I'm a secretary. So.
Where at?
I work at a hair salon. I work for my parents. And, yeah, that's that. I answer phones, I say hello to people, all that good shit. Let's see, I go to school down in Detroit, Wayne State. Live in Kego Harbor, Michigan. It's a 1 square mile town at the ass crack of Pontiac, West Bloomfield, and Waterford.
All roads lead to Kego.
All roads lead. I don't even know if that's an actual expression.
That is an actual expression because all roads around here lead to Kego.
I mean,
no, they don't.
They fucking do.
There's plenty of roads that don't lead to Kego.
Yeah, that are in like other states.
Everything's connected to Kego.
I'm 59. Does it intersect Kego? No.
Cass, I mean Kego.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same logic can be applied
Whatever.
to literally any place ever, but like that's fine. Anyways, so we're gonna get going. Aiden, I understand you have some social justice warrior shit to lay out.
I don't want to start out. Justin, just Austin, Justin, if you guys want to talk about anything.
Okay, fine. Well, I guess I'll get going on my one thing. The one thing that I've been wanting to talk about lately is a thing that I've sort of become invested in the last couple months, which is like stand-up comedy, right? It's been around forever. But at the same time, what?
Your radio voice is cracking me up.
Fuck you, telling me my radio voice. You a dick. So, I've been big into stand-up for the last, couple months or so. And in doing so, I've decided that I can very easily become a stand-up comedian. I'm just not doing it because...
You're not funny.
Well, that's part of it, yeah. So, I don't know. I've been actually, like, fucking around with the idea of starting to write shit, maybe going to an open mic or two. Problem is, I turned 21 in a month. That should be the green light. A lot of, like, the only real club around here, I'd say, is Mark Ridley's. You know what I mean?
That's in Royal Oak, right? Washington,
yeah. Aside from that, like, that's really...
I mean, there's Ann Arbor has a few. I know Ferndale has one too.
You should go to the one in Ferndale. It's
Magic
more
Bag.
your scene.
The Magic Bag in Ferndale, Michigan.
More my scene? What does that mean?
I'm just
Do
saying.
I look like I own a pair of Toms, motherfucker?
I just think Ferndale's the place for you, man.
People always talk shit. I like
sure that
Ferndale.
was a
People
gay
talk
joke.
shit about Ferndale.
Was that a gay joke?
I mean, I'm not going to say it wasn't a gay joke.
Hey, I don't have a problem with Ferndale. Ferndale's cool by me. I don't have a problem.
Can't say I've ever been there. Anyways, so in my travels, very recently, I mean like 2 days ago, I came across a guy on a podcast that I listen to regularly. His name's Doug Stanhope. And then I went on, I was like, this guy was funny on, this 3 hours of a podcast I listened to. So I go onto Netflix, search up his name, and he has a special. Great, listen to the special. And it was brilliant. And the thing that I find really interesting about it is it was brilliant. Just as brilliant as any of the big mainstream guys, if not more brilliant. But this cat never has left the clubs. He filmed in a 75-seater. Like, that's just what he's done for the last literally 22 years.
And from what I've heard about him, he lives in the middle of nowhere in Arizona.
Lives in a town with a population of 2,000 people on the Mexican border in Arizona. It's called Bisbee. And okay, so what I'm asking is what's interesting is that the difference between him and somebody really crazy, mainstream, successful, like somebody like Louis C.K., okay? Mm-hmm. Louis C.K. broke into the scene, like the mainstream scene, fairly recently, maybe 4 years ago, right? 4 or 5 years ago?
I'd say probably around 2010.
Yeah.
Around 2010, when his first big special hit, something like that.
But he is a foul motherfucker. Louis C.K., on SNL, he had an opening monologue about how molesting kids must be fun. And
well, there's gotta be. He's right. There's gotta be something about it. Otherwise, people wouldn't do it.
Obviously, people like doing it if they do it. I mean, they get off by doing it.
No, and it's a common sense thing. But think about the joke. Break the joke down. It is hysterical. And everybody, But this cat... But at the
wait. What do they do again, Austin?
Disapprove. He actually caught a lot of shit for that bit, by the way. But at the same time, Doug Stanhope, who has a joke up there, literally and especially introduces a joke by saying, so my mom committed suicide 3 years ago. Crowd goes silent. Nobody's saying shit. He brings it back up immediately, and that's it. And from there, he proceeds to tell a story about how he helped kill his mother.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, there was a 20-minute bit in the middle of his special about him killing his mom, and it was hilarious.
I've been trying to kill my mom for a while now. She just doesn't know about it.
Right. On the DL.
See, that's the thing about comedy, though, is
Borax in the morning coffee.
I'm trying to help her.
If you want to be good at comedy, you have to say shit that nobody else wants to say.
Right, but at the same time, why? My question...
And make it funny.
My question to you guys, because I want you 2 cents in on this, is that why does Doug Stanhope play 75-seaters all year long and Louis C.K. sells out arenas?
Well, Louis C.K.
Aside from the fact Louis is brilliant, I'm not knocking
taking away from Louis at all. No,
but really, because he does crazy shit I could never do.
There's not much difference between the two, because Louis, the reason that he's so popular and so successful today is because of his work ethic, and it's always been that. He did the club gig for ever and ever and ever. He did writing for a lot of different shows, like for Conan's show and for a number of other different shows. He wrote movies, and he really grinded it out, and it took him a while to get this mainstream success that he's now enjoying.
Right.
And that's the kind of the story for a lot of brilliant comics, is that you keep going and going and going and going and going until something really good hits, or until you hit your stride. I know that Joe Rogan talks about Joey Diaz all the time and how he was kind of a shit bum.
Joey Diaz.
For the majority of his career, and that only now, Joey Diaz has been in the business for about 20 years.
I feel like shit bum is an understatement.
Being a comedian is probably one of the hardest things to do. I feel like. Yeah. Because you could be stuck in that. You can be stuck in that club. For the rest of your fucking life. Yeah. It's literally a lot of it's work ethic and a lot of it's luck too.
Right. Yeah.
You got to be seen by the right people. So I feel like the reason why Stanhope isn't as big as CK is because imagine 2 guys being in the extreme mainstream like that. Yeah. Maybe we can only handle one in the mainstream.
And on top of that, to be that funny motherfucker, you've got to be abrasive. You've got to just be a hard person to be around all the time, because I couldn't imagine that a comedian would have a real tough time selling his act to some bigwig who's going to throw money at it. You'd be getting in the boardroom and dropping N-bombs and this and other shit. And it'd be funny for us, or funny for them even, but I can imagine how that would rub some people the wrong way.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I don't know. What's strange is that it shares a lot, because it is show business. At the end of the day, you're in show business. You're up there. You're same sort of in the general universe. You're in the same profession as Frank Sinatra, fucking Elvis Presley, The Who. I'm serious, man.
Two of the deadest motherfuckers alive.
You go up on stage and you entertain people. You know what I mean? You make people happy. You give people the opportunity to escape their shit lives for an hour and a half at a time, and it's beautiful. It's great. But with stand-up comedy, what it doesn't have is the glam, the level of glamour, of glory that, you know, people like musicians or movie stars get to have.
That's true.
I'd say the only person that I can think of as far as stand-up comedians go that had that level was Eddie Murphy. And that's
Maybe
just
Robin
because,
Williams, to an extent.
I don't know, man. Eddie Murphy came out on stage in a skin-tight cherry red leather suit and said, "I get so much pussy because I'm famous."
Have you ever been to
And
a?
It was brilliant because he did. It was amazing. He was a fucking rock star.
Have you ever been to a live comedy show before? Or have you ever seen anybody do comedy live? Not even a big show, just anybody in general.
Maybe like once in a bar one time.
Like I saw this guy like it was like I don't know, some like nobody that of any significance, but like it was fucking awesome. Like seeing comedy live, I feel like is a lot different than watching it. Like being there, like hearing everybody else laugh, it's different than just sitting in your like.
That's why I nag all you motherfuckers to go down to the.
I want to go.
Okay.
I'm down.
I'm convinced my rabbi is a stand-up comedian in disguise. Rabbi Yedwab drops mad jokes. So does what's his name? Rabbi Shmolash. Rabbi Shmolash did a joke on Passover about how he eats bacon, which that one didn't go over so well, but it was pretty funny. Our rabbis are funny dudes.
Man, that's
dude, they really are.
Didn't you show me one time there's a YouTube channel called Old Jews Telling Jokes?
Yeah, man.
And it was brilliant. It was tremendous.
It's nothing like an old Jew telling a joke.
It's a like 10-minute setup to the dumbest fucking punchline you've ever heard, and somehow you laugh your ass off. It's
That's
great.
Literally what every single sermon that my rabbis put on is all about. It's this big fucking like long leaping thing that just builds and builds, and he brings in the story of David and of Noah and hell and brimstone and all Old Testament shit, only to say at the very end that he eats bacon and it tastes great.
Wait, are you not supposed to, I never really understood that.
No, Jews don't dig on swine. They don't eat pork.
Ever?
No. I mean, if you're into it, then you're not supposed to eat pork.
We're Jew light, so we kind of pick what we want to do, and we
like
eat bacon.
you eat bacon, right?
We eat bacon.
Like I was raised Catholic, not supposed to eat meat on Fridays during Lent.
Fuck that. Are you kidding me?
I don't give a fuck
What
about
else
that.
is there
I'm not
to eat?
like fish, because fish isn't meat apparently.
Why isn't fish meat? Fish is meat.
It's never been meat. People
fish is
vegetarians eat fish.
Well, then
Some
they're
vegetarians
fucking
eat fish.
liars, and they're eating.
It doesn't count. Apparently, fish don't count. I don't know why.
Dude, that's like saying chicken doesn't count.
But
Yes,
like,
it
I
does.
never followed that shit. Like, I don't know. I never understood how people could.
Yeah, I don't get it, man. I had an aunt like that. She lives out in San Diego, and for a long time there, for like 10 years, she was a vegetarian, right? But whenever she came over, she would eat chicken, and she'd eat fish, but she wouldn't eat, beef, pork, anything like that.
See, like, yeah, like I've known plenty of vegetarians. For some reason, literally every single girl that I've ever dated has been a fucking vegetarian.
Well, no, the girl vegetarians are all pescatarians.
I don't.
Right.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, they still ate, like, chicken and certain meat. Like, I'd be frying bacon or something, and they'd like smell, and they'd be like, "Oh, I want some." So it's like, then what's the point of even saying you're a vegetarian? Like, no, like.
It's like greenwashing. It's like car companies selling their cars eco.
Like, I understand some people don't like the taste of red meat. I can understand that.
Well, I mean,
But like, you don't need to call yourself a vegetarian if you still eat chicken and stuff.
I don't think you can, really. Like, oh, what? Oh, I bit into a tendon. No, that means you're eating an animal. That means you're eating meat.
And like, the thing with me is,
there's a vein stuck in between your teeth.
The thing with
because
me,
it's meat.
The thing with me is, like, if I give up meat, by default, I'm automatically a vegan. So like, I can't. It's literally impossible for me to be a vegetarian.
We should explain that Aiden has he's lactose intolerant.
No, I'm allergic to milk, which means like lactose intolerant means that if you can eat dairy products, you can ingest that, and except you'll like get the shits. Maybe you'll have like a stomach problem. If I eat it, like my fucking like throat will close up and like I'll
You'll die.
Yeah, I'll die.
Oh,
So.
Finally.
jeez.
We found
That's-
a-
I mean, like, I guess I could be a vegetarian technically. Like, I can still eat animal products, like that aren't milk. Like, I don't know, like marshmallows apparently have bone marrow from
What?
certain animals, and the marshmallows are not vegan. Oreos are apparently vegan.
Oreos are vegan?
Yeah,
Who would
apparently.
have guessed it? I thought there was cream in it.
Oh no, I can eat Oreos. Oreos are great.
Pretty sure it's just icing.
Yeah, it's not. There's no milk. There's no dairy products
Just
in it.
sugar.
But yeah, so like I'm fucked when it comes to that. Like if I ever wanted to be vegetarian for some reason,
We got really fucking
can't.
off topic.
A little bit.
That's
Where were
okay.
you going,
It's okay.
Where were you going with this whole comedian thing anyway,
Well, no,
man?
I literally, and I like kind of spelled it out for you guys a little bit, which was like, I just want to know what you think. Is it really just luck of the draw? That is what is the difference between guys like Louis, guys like Doug. I mean, granted, Doug's a lazy asshole while Louis works his ass off. So like,
There you go.
does
Yeah.
Louis have? Does he brag about having a drinking problem?
no,
Maybe that, I don't know, might have something to do with it.
maybe.
Maybe the alcohol.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I'm not saying that I have anything against alcohol or alcoholics in general.
Right. How's that?
But
Oh, you finished your drink already.
yeah,
Oh, here. You want to share?
sure, pour some into mine.
No, I don't want to do that. It's gonna spill everywhere. Just drink it.
I think the boys are drinking something. I
Yeah.
don't know what.
Oh, well, see, we, oh, you spilled. Yes, you fuck. You filthy fuck. But, I bought, like a
I'm
half
good
gallon
at-
of really cheap whiskey, and we realized when we came over today that, wait a minute, we have no Coca-Cola, but we have Diet Coke.
Caffeine-free
So
Diet
we're
Coke.
drinking, we're drinking,
Oh,
exactly.
God.
So right now we're drinking whiskey and caffeine-free Diet Coke. Like the
Jesus.
good little white girls that we are. So, on the topic of showbiz, sort of, kind of. We're stretching this segue a little bit. But I'm sure all of you have heard by this point, who the fuck knows when you're listening to this? It could be the year 2020. I don't fucking know. Maybe the internet's still around, maybe the world's ended. But, David Bowie just died maybe, what, like a week ago, 2 weeks ago?
I want to say 2 weeks, maybe
About
3.
2 weeks, two
Yeah,
weeks
about
ago.
2 weeks
even,
ago.
maybe.
And because...
The Rolling Stone that commemorates his death is already out, so
Yeah.
about 3 weeks, I'd say.
Really?
I'd say
Yeah.
3 weeks.
Jesus. Anyways, so we're a little late on the news here, but that's not the point. The point is that I like to hop on the bandwagon of social trends. So, all this Bowie shit's going around, and
The rest of us here at the Group Therapy Podcast don't necessarily abide by that jumping onto the train, so whatever.
Well, yeah, whatever. Anyways, I know you've been into Bowie forever. I don't know about
yeah.
you. I've never talked Bowie with you, but I've never really listened to Bowie. I heard Changes, thought it was a catchy tune. That's it.
That's like the worst place
So-
to start with Bowie, too.
See, the thing about me is I was never a Bowie fan. I wouldn't listen to Bowie, but a lot of the people I do listen to have said they were Bowie
Right.
fans.
Influence.
So, like, in a way, I guess
Yeah.
by default, he's had an impact on me
Right. And
just
literally,
because I listen to people who listen
so
to him.
yesterday, I, for the first time ever, burp. So for the first time ever, I searched David Bowie on my Spotify. Now, I've had my Spotify premium account forever. Great deal, blah, 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 blah. Free fucking advertisement.
I don't know
But-
why you're doing that. Spotify doesn't give us any money.
Yeah, I know they don't. We gotta work on that. We gotta work on that for our fucking... How many viewers do you got?
Yeah,
Well,
I'm not worried. Spotify.
We
if
don't
you wanna,
know yet.
I'm not worried about. I'm not worried about money at all.
Spotify, if you want to throw us
I'd
some
rather
money.
just people listen. To be
I'm
honest.
Jewish. I can't help it.
I was gonna make that joke, but I didn't want to be offensive, so you said it yourself. So we're good. We're good.
So anyways, I just started listening to Bowie like literally 2 or 3 days ago. And it's interesting, man, because I've heard
Ooh,
about it for
That doesn't
years.
sound good.
No, I've heard about it for years. And here's the thing. And that I know you're big into it. So I'm not going to like be really abrasive about it or whatever because I know it's something that really is important to you. However, you know, some of it I
I'll be
really,
abrasive.
really love. One of the first songs that
joking,
came
huh?
up on the shuffle for like Bowie Greatest Hits was I'm Afraid of Americans. Dude, it was brilliant.
It's
it was
really
great.
good.
It literally sounded, if you told me that song was recorded a week ago, I would have believed you.
Yeah, man. That's Bowie for you. A
It
lot of
was-
his music is timeless.
It was great. It was really good. But at the same time, what comes up next on the podcast? Dancing in the Street.
Dancing in the Street. Okay.
Like, dude,
Is that the
is,
one where it's like dancing?
it's him and Mick Jagger, and it is not timeless.
Everybody was dancing in the streets.
Don't forget the Motor City.
Well,
But-
the thing about Dancing in the Streets is like at the time that came out, is they were going on. If I remember correctly, they were going on tour together.
Yeah.
And it was a good song for them to do a duet on. That they both had time it, that they could both sing together, and would also like be a good crowd pleaser, for doing that sort of thing. And the music video is terrible, and the production quality of the song is.
I argue that it's great because for comic value alone, watching David Bowie. Okay, so Mick Jagger's standing in front of the camera in like the tightest T-shirt you've ever seen in your life,
God.
and he has his hands up and he's like shaking, fucking everything. He's blah, looking all weird, and then you got Bowie in the background, and when Bowie's not singing, he has his back facing to the camera, and he's literally just pointing at the like roof, like gyrating around. It is hilarious. Apparently, they were gay lovers, by the way.
No,
What do you think about that? Because I think.
Well, I think they're rock stars, so
Yeah.
they'll fuck anything that moves.
Well, that was. You know what's interesting is that as far as Bowie goes, I never like listened to his music, but I always held him in the highest regard as like when you think of rock and roll, you know what I mean? When you think of that, when you think of fucking. I suck dick. I get all the pussy in the world.
Huh?
I do fucking every.
That's not rock and roll.
I do every drug known to man. I fucking party like nobody else. I think of Bowie. Bowie sucked like mad dick. Bowie. Bowie. I'm serious, man.
What the fuck are you saying?
I'm saying.
Hey, can I cut you off for a second?
I'm saying
Please.
Bowie
Hey,
was rock and
hey,
roll. That's
okay,
what I'm saying.
just stop
Whoa,
talking.
The levels are spiking.
Oh, just stop talking.
for a minute.
Austin,
What?
please,
What?
just
What?
stop talking. Let somebody who actually knows shit about Bowie talk for a second.
Yeah.
Justin,
Bowie-
please. You literally just said Bowie sucked mad dick.
Bowie, like, the thing about Bowie is like, okay, so
Being a rock star isn't about sex, drugs, or sucking dick. It's about maybe being a rock star, being a good musician
yeah,
is not about.
That's not
all
what I'm
that
talking
shit.
about. That's not what I'm
But the
talking
thing
about.
Okay,
about-
well you're going from the wrong angle from this.
the
I
thing
feel
about
like.
the thing about Bowie is like when he was early in his career, he was exposed to that sort of lifestyle and he experimented with it and thought for a while initially that he was gay, and he actually came out to say that he was gay.
Yeah.
He later decided that he was he was bisexual, that he wasn't gay, he was bisexual.
Yeah.
And then towards the end of his career and towards the end of his life, he started talking about, well, I kind of feel bad for the gay community because, when I made that statement, when I said those things, it wasn't true.
Yeah.
I was just open to a whole lot of new experiences, and to be honest, I'm completely and totally straight. That's what he said towards the end of his life. Do I think that David Bowie and Mick Jagger may have fooled around together? I don't really know, and I don't.
It doesn't really matter.
It doesn't really matter to me.
It doesn't matter
because that's not David Bowie in my mind. Isn't this fuck machine that is like
He
known
doesn't
for
suck
that.
mad dick. Austin.
Yeah, no. In my
Okay.
mind, David Bowie doesn't suck mad dick.
I'm not a mad David Bowie fan. I'm not even a David Bowie fan at all. But I'm like, if I think about David Bowie, I just think of somebody that had an impact on music.
When I think
Not
of
somebody that sucked mad dick.
when I think of David Bowie, I think of Diamond Dogs. I think of Young Americans. I think of Ziggy Stardust. I think of those albums. I think of Is There Life on Mars, and the thing about Bowie is that there's a lot of his music that won't click with you just because of the fact that he put out such a huge library of music. I mean, like if you wanted to go back there, it's like an album a year for like 20 years.
Yeah.
And not slowing down. And the thing about each album is very, very starkly different from the last, to the point where he created different characters for himself to play so that he could break into a different genre without the expectations of his past library, which I think is something that's genius and is something that a lot of artists today are picking up on and doing. You see Eminem has different
But the shitty thing about today's music is like, there's never gonna be another person like that.
You can't say that.
In the
No,
mainstream.
you can't say
I can say that
disagree,
personally.
man. I don't think so. I think so.
There's never going to be
the
another.
music industry's like it's harder. Do you listen to the radio, music radio at all ever?
Well, it sucks dick. No, I don't listen to the radio. But like at the same time, you have to look at the history of popular music in America, okay? And what's really interesting is if you look at it, it forms the shape of a pendulum when you're going between two extremes. The extremes are one being heavily really production heavy, really high budget music, and then really, really, really organic music, okay? And it swings back and forth. Let's lay out some examples. In the
before we go into getting into examples of those sorts of things, I wanted to know, in your like 2-3 days of listening to Bowie, like what were the highlights for you? Like what were the songs or the albums?
Fame, man. I love Fame. Okay.
You really love Fame?
Dude, Fame
that's the song my dad showed me when
Fame
he
is
was
funk
like, Bowie.
nasty.
It's just like,
Every once in a while you hear like something really funky and it makes your head nod, it makes you want to fuck, and the only word that can like describe that groove is just it's nasty. And you get that build up in the beginning and it drops into that and you just it's fucking nasty. So that's great. Fame's great. I do like Changes. It's kind of like a happy little blah 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 blah. I don't know.
You haven't even gotten to the weird stuff.
What's the Space? Oh God, Space Oddity.
Yep, Space Oddity.
Space Oddity is really good. And actually, what's interesting is that I didn't know the billboard. So the day after Bowie died, a billboard popped up actually just outside of Detroit. I think on the side of I-696. And it was the star and the lightning bolt that Bowie, put on his face when he was Ziggy Stardust.
Yeah, I saw that.
And on the side it said, the stars look very different today. And I was like, oh man, that's really cool. But I didn't know that was a straight lyric from the song until like 2 days ago. When I listened to it, I was like, oh shit. Like, there you go. Anyways, that song's really good. And I'm Not an American, really good. It's really dark. The bass has this fucking growl to it. And it runs the whole time. That's really good.
Was that the song that he did with 9 Inch Nails?
Was it?
It may have been. It may have been the song they did with
If it
Trent
was,
Reznor.
it explains a lot because it sounds a lot like 9 Inch Nails.
I'm pretty certain that's the song they did with Trent Reznor, and actually, he actually got Trent Reznor off of drugs.
Really?
Yeah, in the series of like doing that, he was really into 9 Inch Nails and what that band was doing, and wanted to collaborate with Trent Reznor. Trent Reznor on the time was very down on his luck, and David Bowie was the guy who kind of got him help and got him cleaned up. And
well, that's funny because
music with him.
Because I know Iggy Pop has said that when he was in rehab, Bowie would come in to visit him and smuggle him heroin every single day.
You got to understand that when Bowie was working with Trent Reznor, he was probably in his late 40s, early 50s.
Yeah, so he was a lot older than
and
that.
when he was dealing with Iggy Pop, he was in his 20s. I mean, him and Iggy were like, very much the same age and part of the same things. I don't know. Like, some of my favorite stuff is actually from when he was doing stuff with Iggy, like China Girl.
Yeah,
is one of my favorite tracks that he ever put out.
Iggy Pop's the fucking man.
Oh, Iggy Pop's a man.
He is.
I like.
What's interesting is when you think of Detroit.
He's from Ann Arbor or Detroit?
Yeah. He's from He grew up in Ann Arbor. What's interesting is that when you think of Detroit musicians, a couple names come to mind. It's Bob Seger, right? Bob Seger is
Jack
Detroit.
White nowadays.
Jack White nowadays is Detroit. But nobody talks about Iggy Pop. Iggy.
Because Iggy Pop peed on a lot of his fans.
He did.
That
it was
and
great.
Literally?
Yeah, no, literally.
Pissed all over
Some
it.
Gigi Allen shit?
Gigi Allen. Before Gigi Allen, yeah.
Yeah, no,
Gigi Allen was a poser.
Don't talk to me, Gigi Allen.
Don't you have a tattoo commemorating Gigi Allen?
I do, yes.
Oh, God.
And that doesn't mean that I support rape. I do not support rape. I do not support the actions of Gigi Allen. I just enjoyed his music. Don't attack me.
The thing I think that a lot of the reasons that Iggy Pop doesn't get associated with Detroit is because that was never part of who he was.
Right.
In a lot of ways, people associate him with like the British.
That's how a lot
scene
of Detroit musicians are, though.
Well,
Is kind of, except like Motown, obviously, but like Jack White left Detroit. If you think of Jack White in Nashville.
Well, like with Iggy,
it's kind of shitty.
The kind of music that he grew up with Motown, and the music that spoke to him was like British invasion punk music, and he didn't actually get any traction in America. He got like a lot of people were repulsed by him. He didn't start getting traction into America until Alice Cooper started getting really big.
Yeah.
Where was Alice Cooper?
Because they thought, because they thought that Iggy Pop was shock rock when really Iggy Pop was punk rock.
He was punk as fuck.
Mm-hmm. So once shock rock had an effect, then the American, the American public had like a palette for Iggy Pop's, at least if not his music, his performance. And then it wasn't until David Bowie came along and gained a lot of traction that Iggy Pop kind of gained that same amount of ground.
I've actually heard people argue that Iggy Pop invented punk.
I've heard that.
I've heard of that. I've heard death.
Death.
So punk is definitely a Detroit thing, and I'm happy about that. So.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Dude, I actually saw Death at a free show was it last year? It was
Jesus,
summer of
they must-
You said
2014.
it's a free show.
They must be
that's
ancient.
awful.
Oh no, it was Zoomies,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
skateboard shop.
Yeah.
They were doing some.
quote unquote skateboard shop.
Yeah, I did air
It's
quotations when I said that.
PacSun and they sell skateboards.
Okay, besides,
motherfucker.
okay, whatever. They were sponsoring this thing in this abandoned theater. It was a Michigan theater in Detroit. Basically, just
Okay,
like a
I'm gonna go
ruined,
pee. Keep talking.
a ruined porn's like anybody who's obsessed with ruined porn. Like basically, they're like
like urban exploration.
yeah, like that was like the venue. It was just like somewhere like that. They'd be in heaven. But anyways, it was like they had a skate park in there that they set up, and they had a stage, and they had fucking trash talk.
Oh, I love trash talk.
Opened up.
Y'all motherfuckers just don't know about trash talk.
I enjoyed it. Trash Talk opened up, and then Death came on after Trash Talk, and they fucking rocked.
Dude, Death does fucking rock. I actually got introduced to Death by a guy at an NA meeting a couple years back.
I got introduced to them, sadly, by that documentary.
I don't even know if I've seen the documentary.
It used to be on Netflix. I forget what it was called. I don't remember what it's called. But anyways,
Was it about Death?
yeah, the whole thing was about Death.
Okay.
It might have been called Death. I don't know. It
And
might
for
have been called something else.
our listeners, if there are any, to clarify, Death is the first punk band, or is often labeled as the first punk band that ever came up, and they started in like the 60s, late 70s,
Early 60s.
early 60s.
No, late 60s. I
Late
wanna
60s,
say.
early 70s is what I meant to say. And they're really, really, really good. A lot of what you heard in the British Invasion and that material is almost exactly what you would have heard.
And the
from
thing about
Death
back then
record.
is like obviously the internet wasn't around, so like just because of the state of how the world was, people were making similar music. Like there's no way in hell that people in like Britain heard Death and they were like,
No.
oh, let's play music like
Plus-
this. Like it's just because of how the state
Plus,
of the world
Death was a
was
lot harder. Like,
Yeah,
Death
was
a lot heavier than what you would see from like the British
and
guys. When
they were
putting out.
fucking old as shit when I saw them, and they still fucking rocked.
I'm sure
people
they
were
gotta be
moshing
in
like
their
there was a
60s.
fucking circle
Yeah,
pit.
They gotta
It
be
was
in their
awesome.
60s or their 70s.
They were in their 70s, and like I know the
Jesus.
guy who wrote a lot of their shit. They were all brothers in the band.
So
he passed away, so they
the name
had
is
somebody
fitting.
else.
The name is fitting.
I guess, yeah.
Well, and that's another thing is that like when so obviously British first wave punk, you got names
Not
like,
into it.
You got
into it.
I'm not really that
I mean,
into
not
it either.
so much. I listen to it because I respect it. Guys like the fucking Sex Pistols.
I don't
and
listen
the
to stuff
Ramones
because I
and
respect it.
whatnot.
I respect the Beatles to a point. Doesn't mean I'm going to listen to it.
Right, but at the same time, 15,
Except for the early shit. Early Beatles, I'm down with.
right. But 15 years or so after the first wave, I was like, oh, so the Sex Pistols, that's what punk rock is.
Yeah.
And then I started listening to
Fuck the Sex
I
Pistols,
started
dude.
listening to
Fuck
like
Sid Vicious.
Fuck Sid Vicious.
Fuck
He's
Sid
a fucking
Vicious.
I'm going to go pee.
So then I started listening, then I heard about California hardcore. California hardcore, like mid to late 80s, right? That's when the second wave came about. Guys like Black Flag, guys like Minor Threat out on the East Coast. These guys were fucking lunatics. Like literally, like they had a reputation for if they were holding a show in like a burned down church or something, like there was going to be at least like 10 ambulances that showed up at that show to take people away. And you know what happened? All the youth in the like Tri-County area went to that show because it was just gnarly, man. And that's, I don't know. So,
But like to wrap it up or bring it back to what I was talking about with Bowie is like with Bowie you're able to have that conversation. You're able to have the conversation of funk, of punk, of pop music,
rock and roll,
of disco, of all these different things, and you
Yeah.
can look at his different albums and where he puts on the funk hat, where he puts on the disco
you watch
hat,
him move through time.
and every single time he does it, he's at the forefront of it. He's
Absolutely, yeah.
breaking ground in it, and I can't say while you may not enjoy some of it, I don't think that you can make the argument that any of it was really bad.
No, I
What are
don't
some
think-
modern day people that you listen to?
Yeah, modern
Like-
day. That
Yeah.
I listen to like now.
Yeah.
What's really unfortunate is actually my favorite.
Okay, we're going to go around. You
Okay,
first.
okay.
Okay, I listen to it's hard for me to because I don't listen to a lot of modern day people. I guess like some of the only modern day bands that I follow is like Radkey, which is a punk band I saw not too long ago.
Oh yeah, great show.
And I follow their music. I'm trying to think of who else I really enjoy modern time. You know,
See, the thing about me is I pretty much only listen to modern day bands.
I don't follow music in the same way.
Recently, I've been delving into some older stuff, but
Like, I don't consume music now the same way that I did about 3-4 years ago, or even earlier than that, where I would like actively seek out new music and listen to it, and become.
You've become a square.
Well, I haven't become a square. It's just not part of.
see, this is what's gonna happen. Like,
It's not part of the medium that I actively seek out.
you just gotta go to shows, like random fucking shows, and like.
Well, that's what I did with Radkin. That's how
Yeah,
I
it
got
was
introduced to
great.
them. But it's
We
not.
were one of like 16 people there.
See, this is what's gonna happen when we move to Midtown. We're just gonna fucking go to random shows.
Which should be cool, but like I don't consume music in the same way. Where before I would go and I would download whole discographies and listen to it and have like I used to have an iPod that I'd keep on me 24/7 and always listen to music. Nowadays, I listen to what comes on and what I got a bunch of CDs that I play, but I don't really go looking out for new stuff. And if I do, it's like I go to the Salvation Army and pick up like 20 CDs that look interesting or funny, and that's my method now. Just different. So, what about you, Aiden? What new bands are you into?
That's a pretty hard question.
You're the one who posed it.
I know. I don't know. I listen to a lot of weird shit. Like I listen to like
Is it really that weird though?
I listen to like
Yes.
I listen to a lot of like different kinds of music. Like I've been into like garage rock lately. Like Ty Siegel's a guy.
That's what I mean, man. So this to go back to what I was saying is that, we've had the Nicki Minaj's and the Justin Timberlake for the last couple of years.
I like Justin Timberlake.
Well,
Be nice.
I do too. Justin Timberlake, suave as fuck. But at the same time, what's new? Okay, Nicki Minaj is not new. Lady Gaga is not new. Katy Perry's not new. What's new is what you're listening to. What you're listening to is some of the most organic shit you can find. Okay, that's what's coming up. So I
guess it's not gonna break the mainstream. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, it is. It is. Give it 2 years, it'll be there.
I don't know, but to
Dude,
go back to what I was
Mumford
saying.
and fucking Sons, okay?
People said the same thing about dubstep.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
So
maybe it will. I don't think
it is going to. That whole organic thing is going to come back, and when that happens,
What do you mean by organic?
What I mean by organic is that it's music that's not made by a computer, okay?
And without
Yeah,
pesticides.
Exactly.
Non-GMO music.
Non-GMO.
No, but to go back to what I was saying, like artists who I listen to that are influenced by David Bowie, Ty Segall, like that said, he's stated that that's like his biggest influence, and like he put out 3 albums in 1 year last year, and he's already has 1 out this year. He's probably gonna come out with like 2 more this year. Like, he has fucking like 12 albums out, and he's only been around for like 5 years, and he already has 12 albums.
But at that point,
And
man,
they're all great.
Aren't you just kind of throwing some filler music in there?
No, they're all great, and the thing.
I've written an
And
album.
there's
and
another
it
guy.
took me forever.
Yeah, I know, but that's the thing. If certain people can
do
just
that.
can spit it out, but there's another guy that I listen to, who sadly passed away. R.I.P. Jay Reatard. He's a great garage
what?
rock. Reatard.
Is that his actual name?
Yeah, Reatard. Jay
poor
Reatard.
family.
J-A-Y. If you want to look him up. Garage rock, great guy from Memphis, I believe, and he put out probably like 10 or 15 albums within like a 5-year span before he passed away, and he like was asked like, aren't you ever like worried like you're gonna like run out of your creativity? And he's like, like people ask me like, is it filler music, is it this? And he's like, you know what, I see it more as a race against time, like how much time I have left. Like I just want to use my time. Like, no, he wasn't sick. He was just like, you know what, I see it as like I only have this much time on Earth. It's really not that much time. Like I'm gonna try to put out as much as I can put out.
Spooky.
And like, yeah, it's really spooky.
I would
like,
answer
there's a documentary about
really
him. Like,
morbid way
I'll show it. I'll show it to you guys
Okay.
sometime. There's a documentary with him in it, and it's just like he knew he was gonna die. It's like,
Well, maybe we
what
all
the
do.
fuck? Well, I mean, he didn't. It's like he knew he was gonna die at that age.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
he died at 27 too, I believe.
27 Club.
But yeah, like Ty Segall, Jay Reatard, the OCs, which are a really good garage band. I listen to like a lot of like post rock,
What is post rock?
just instrumental, like explosions in the sky.
So it's like a jam band kind of.
Yeah, except not rock and roll. It's like
Yeah.
Not weedy.
no, it's not like that. Tame Impala is pretty good. They're like a psychedelic band.
They're kind of mainstream popular nowadays.
Yeah, they're bigger. I don't know. I'm a huge Radiohead fan.
Who
Huge
isn't?
Radiohead fan.
Who isn't?
I know Radiohead's fucking great.
Yeah.
I don't know, just a lot of random shit. It's hard for me to name off bands, but
That's bigger than my list. I had like one.
I mean, mine's gonna be less impressive, but actually, I just found
well, that's
out
because that's literally all I do.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I listen to music at least like 8 hours a day.
that's wow.
Like I'll sit in my room like reading and listening to music. Like that's what I do. If I don't have anything to do, I'm not sitting around watching Netflix.
I can't do that. I can't do the.
Like
two things.
I'll say like I want to watch this movie, but I'll find myself halfway through the movie pausing it and then just looking up songs on YouTube for like 4 hours. And
Yeah,
falling asleep.
I mean, like I used to be able to do that.
That's just
but
how I am. I don't know.
I can't even read and listen to music at the same time. I gotta like do
That's what
one
I
or
do.
the other because I
Homework,
can't
listening.
split my focus like that. It's weird.
Actually, what I found is that if I'm doing homework, if I'm studying, instrumental jazz.
Instrumental music of any kind, for the most part, unless it's like noise music or something like
Yeah.
anything
But-
that's not abrasive, pretty much is easy to. That's
But
a good stuff to listen
As
to.
far
when
as
you're
like new guys that I listen to, actually they just broke up like a couple months ago, but a band called the Gaslight Anthem, rock and roll group out of New Jersey, really 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 good stuff, man. Some of it gets a little too slow and a little too poppy, but aside from that, there's no frills in there. You know what I mean? It's a guy screaming his lungs out with like.
some of my other friends.
You got a
were
guy
into
with
them,
a
too.
Telecaster, you got a bass player, you got a drummer, and you have some skinny guy that can't really sing, trying to sing, covered in tattoos. Like that's rock and roll. And so I listen to them a lot. Another one that our buddy Marshall introduced us to, Umphreys McGee. They're like a, I'm serious, man. They're like a jam
I like
band
that.
style thing. Their music's really kind of, it's jam band. So like it's upbeat. And it's really instrumentally, it's brilliant. Like the bass player on point, the drummer crazy, the guitar player makes me want to cream myself. Like it really is. All of it's great, and it's all structured in this like really loose, really like fluid way. Aside from that, I've been listening to a bit of hip hop lately, which is weird. I've never really been into rap.
New rapper
Danny Brown.
I've been
Danny Brown.
Danny
back
Brown.
back to Detroit Cats, man. Danny Brown is this dude that lives on the east side of Detroit.
Not anymore.
He still does.
He lives. I'm pretty sure he lives in Midtown, and then he also has a house somewhere around these parts.
What?
Yes, somewhere
Oh,
around
God.
us. Maybe Waterford, maybe White Lake, maybe Clarkston,
Okay.
maybe even Highland. I've heard rumors that he lives in Highland.
I doubt
Nobody
Clarkston.
knows.
I doubt Clarkston.
Yeah.
He lives somewhere around here because
That's-
he
that's-
uploads pictures of him sitting on his like back deck, and it's just woods, and it looks exactly how it looks around here. So I know he has a place in Midtown, and he also has a place out here.
But I've been listening. I've been listening to Danny Brown for about 2 years or whatever now. Danny Brown's cool. He can spit, and then I've been listening to these actually.
And spit. Oh wait,
Because
sorry,
I
not to
know
cut
the
you off.
lingo.
If you like Danny Brown, Loopers, ZE Loopers.
Okay.
It's part of Danny Brown's Bruiser Brigade.
Okay.
Great artist. You should
Let's
listen
see.
to.
Actually, these guys, everybody talks about, when you talk about old school rap, everybody talks about Dre, everybody talks about NWA, Eazy-E, Snoop Dogg, Biggie, Tupac, those guys.
So
into
literally
that
just
shit,
all
dude.
'90s like gangster rappers.
Right, but
See,
I've been listening to
One
a
of our
group-
friends, not to call him out by name, I feel like he's like you know what I'm talking about. Like he's really into the older rap.
Yeah.
I feel like he's a little bit behind the times with a lot of the music he listens
I
to.
agree completely.
Who are we talking about?
Andrew!
Oh, Andrew listens to rap.
Yeah.
Or
Oh.
like 90s rap.
Yeah,
Dude,
but it's
90s
good
rap
shit.
was like really, really,
Anyways,
really good.
what I was saying, have you ever
I was
listened
not into
to,
it, I don't know.
Have you ever listened to the Ghetto Boys?
Wasn't dirty enough for me.
I listened to some of the Ghetto Boys. Not too
Ghetto
much
Boys
of
is
it.
good stuff, man.
It was all right.
I've been listening to them. Wow, those aren't modern guys though. Modern guys, god damn it. I'm struggling.
Danny Brown.
Struggling hard.
There's another one. Marshall showed me the Rubber Bandits, and they're like a like an Irish, Scottish, some sort of ish, like comedy band. They do a song called "I Want to Fight Your Father." And
I think I might have heard one of their songs.
Yeah,
before.
and they do another song called "Black Man," and I don't know. Their tunes are really really catchy, and there's a lot of like funk in it. I'm all about that. It's good shit. It's really 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 good shit. It's pretty funny. Marshall's been sending me that stuff, and it's been stuck in my head.
Some other guys that are off the East Coast that are they're sort of in the same vein as guys like Dropkick Murphys, where it's like a Celtic-ish punk band. They're called Flatfoot 56. Flatfoot 56 is it's more like a punk band, and every couple of songs they'll have some like traditional like Irish instruments in it, but really good, really really worth checking out. But as far as new music, it's mostly old stuff that I listen to.
So there's not. So just there's no new music.
See, the thing about me is like I don't really like to show people.
Well, here's the thing: is I have
like,
playlists on my Spotify that I make of. This is my funk playlist. It has everything from like Chili Peppers to fucking the Commodores and the Meters from
I don't have a Spotify
the early
anymore.
70s. Like everything that is funk that I like is in that playlist. I have a punk playlist. I have a rock playlist. So honestly, man, I hate to be that person that says like I like everything. I listen to everything, but I really kind of do. I even listen to some country. Dude, if I'm in the right mood, if I'm driving through the middle of nowhere and it's fucking the sun setting, I'll put on a country song. I don't give a fuck. Man, I'll fucking pride out. I don't care. I live in America. It's the greatest country of all time. But like,
see, no, okay, completely off topic. Like when I talk about you to people who don't know who you are, if I'm talking, I don't know, just like if I'm talking about my friends and like you like something comes up and I bring you up.
Talking shit.
No, how I describe you is somebody who I just totally would think would be an outright douchebag. but once you get to know him, like, not even once you get to know him, like you literally you're the nicest guy ever. Like, no, I'm serious. Like, I was talking to Al about this the other night. I was like, you know what? Like, Austin, like, when I first met Austin, I was like, I just thought it was like a facade. Like nobody can actually be this nice. He really... he's a fucking douche. Like he's acting, and I was like, then once I got to know you, it was like, no, like, holy shit, like, he's actually a legit person. Like,
he just likes to talk a lot. He likes to have
exactly. That intimidates me as a person because I'm not a big talker.
He likes to have an eclectic amount of opinions about everything.
Everything.
A lot of times he likes to talk to hear the sound of his own voice.
Okay. Anyways, what were you? Just go on.
And he's ugly and fat.
And he has a little dick.
7.5 inches.
The cutest little muffin tops you ever
just
seen.
The cutest nipples.
Oh, the cute nipples. I have fierce nipples. Fucking ferocious. I got some savage nipples.
He's got Japanese porn star nipples.
But yeah, the other thing about music with me is like I don't really like to show people the music I listen to just because I hold it so personal to me.
Yeah, plus you don't want to be that guy.
Right.
I'm not that guy at all.
You don't be that, hey,
when people call me a fucking hipster, I'm like, I don't talk shit about other people's music. Like, that's like the one thing I won't talk shit about. Like, for the most part. Oh, like, I'm not going to talk shit about your music choice.
To you.
It is. I'm not going to talk shit about your
what, man, I respect the hell out of you because, like, I was just as into it. Because, like, you remember when we recorded our EP? For those that don't know, we had a ska punk band for, like...
Not my style of music to play normally, but it was fun as hell.
For, like, a year. And the ska punk band was called YSV. We abbreviated it because when we played, like, places, they didn't, like, want us to put our actual name on the bill because the actual name is Your Sister's Vagina, which we thought was hilarious because you could say things like, I can't wait to see your sister's vagina, or your sister's vagina blew my mind, or things like that, and it's funny.
I'm going to see your sister's vagina.
Exactly. It's fantastic. So we did that for a summer, and
by the way, don't Google the band name because you're probably not gonna get the band. You're probably gonna get some like weird incest.
Right,
porn
exactly. Incest porn, right?
Okay.
But so I don't have an actual sister. That's why I can make
therapy.
I have a sister. Justin has a sister.
We here at Group Therapy endorse Wincest. Check out Your Sister's Vagina today.
It's y.s.v, bitches.
Okay, what the fuck were you gonna say?
I don't know. Fucking the album, the shitty albums on SoundCloud. Anyways, what I was going for was that do you remember when we recorded our EP in that weird kid's basement?
Yes, I'm not gonna say his name, but yes.
Me either, yeah.
Oh, dude, he was really into me.
Yeah.
He had a crush on me.
Oh yeah.
He is. Yeah, he is bi, by the way.
Yeah, he was. Like Darian told me he had a crush on me.
Oh, names, dude.
I don't care.
We're not gonna say his name, anyways.
That fucking faggot.
Oh.
Wow. Okay. Jeez, we are not homophobic here. Okay. Anyways,
but like when we were recording that, I remember we spent every day, all day in his basement. Like, it was awful, and I hated it. But at the same time, all we did for, like, that summer was music. That's all we did, was music. We jammed, we rehearsed, we recorded, we wrote. And, like, now that I think about it, man, it was great. Like, really, it was really nice to have one, like, it felt like there was one sole purpose as to what I'm doing, you know, like when you wake up, what am I going to do today? That was a fart, by the way. If you heard the fart, that was a real fart. It was Justin's real fart. But, you know, you wake up and what am I going to do today? It's not, I think I'm going to jerk off and play video games. It's, no, I have to finish writing the solo to song XYZ. And I don't know, man, it was great. So I wish I could get back into like, the swing of that, you know? But it's really, I don't know. I'm preoccupied with things on the internet, watching top 10 videos, you know. The important
stuff,
things.
yeah,
Exactly.
the important things.
Exactly. So, Aiden, I understand that you have some social justice warrior bullshit that you want to spew on all
It's
of
not
us.
really social justice warrior bullshit. It's just stuff that I found interesting. Don't ever refer to me as an SJW ever again, please.
Yeah, he'll slit your fucking throat.
Please do not. I've had bad experience with those type of people before.
What do you mean?
They're the type of people who... They're the type of people who write a paragraph about somebody on Facebook and, post it. Anyways.
We're not going to name names, though, are we?
No, we're not going to name names because nobody's going to know who they are anyways.
I don't know who that is. Yeah, I don't know.
So, I was watching a Vice video, and when it comes to Vice, for the most part, I'm not a huge fan of, like, their political videos just because they're extremely one-sided.
Yeah.
And
they're pretty radical, too.
Yeah, for the most part. And, like, whatever. Like, I'm cool with that. Like, I don't have a problem with, like, people being
what they're doing
really
with
opinionated.
their journalism, though, like, even though it's incredibly biased, is... I mean, it's pretty exciting. A lot of the places they go, and a lot of the things that they shed light on are exciting, and you have to, respect at least the body of work, if not the opinions involved in it.
Yeah, exactly. But I was watching this Vice video, and it was talking about a guy named Bernie Carrick, and he was like a New York City, like, top cop, like a stand-up citizen, like, put away countless numbers of criminals, like federal crimes.
Is he a street cop? Is he a detective? Is he...
He was a street cop, then he worked his way up to an office job, and then eventually he was actually originally appointed by George W. Bush to be the head of Homeland Security.
Oh, wow.
And they investigated him because obviously he's going to be the head of Homeland Security.
Yeah.
And some questions came up about his nanny and her citizenship of the United States. And he lied to White House officials because he wanted to protect his nanny. Like, she wasn't a citizen.
When you say his nanny, is this like the nanny that he had growing up, or is this the nanny
no, like
the
nanny
children?
for his children.
Okay.
Or child. I'm not sure how many children he has.
Whatever.
But it doesn't matter.
Fuck
Either way, some questions came up about that, and he lied to them about it, and they ended up catching him in the lie, and he got arrested, and all this other shit came about like tax.
Why would he get arrested for
lying to White House officials? Because you can't. Really lie to White House officials.
First of all, plausible deniability. I didn't know she was from Mexico.
I know, but other shit came out about him, like tax
evasion,
just like a bunch of shit, like a bunch of shit. Like, they pretty much just like attacked him completely in the mainstream media, like made him to look to be like some crazy fucker, like. And so he actually got sentenced to between 2.5 and 3 years. I'm not sure exactly how much he served. I think it was 2.5 years
in prison.
in federal prison.
You're fucking kidding me.
He went to federal prison.
Because his nanny was from what, some fucking country?
Yeah, but tax evasion, other stuff came out. So, anyways,
tax evasion is the big I want to get you for something. So
exactly.
There's always a way.
So
to
they
get
were
you for
going
tax
after him.
evasion. That's
Either way,
bullshit.
he just got out recently, and it was, I think the interview came out like 3 days ago. It was January 27th when the interview was put up on YouTube, and they interviewed him about the federal prison, like, and he like as a he was a cop for like countless number of years.
He must have had a hard time.
He comes. Oh, I mean, he was in like the cushy.
He probably met
prison.
some of the people that he put away. If he's been on the.
He was in
for
like
that
the
long.
cushy prison though. Like,
Okay.
that's what he said, but I mean like.
He's using air quotes.
But, like,
for the listeners who can't.
He
see
basically what the interview is he is a proponent, like, completely against our prison system now.
Well, yeah, because it's
And
totally fucked up.
He went on talking about, like, he said all prison taught me what to do was lie, manipulate,
Oh yeah.
and if you get in an argument with somebody, you fucking cut them.
And beyond even like the violence that it goes on in jail, like you got to talk about just the whole corruptness of our prison system. I mean, don't we have like we're like one of like the freest for being one of the freest nations? Don't we have the largest imprisoned population
Per capita, yeah.
Yep. And
Yeah.
another fucked up thing is like if you get a felony, a federal crime, if you get a felony,
Oh, you're fucked.
you're fucked for life.
For
like,
life.
what kind of rehabilitation is that? It's basically just like, it's like the same thing as the Scarlet Letter. Like, you're putting a red A for adultery
that's
on
right.
somebody. You're going
That's
to be
right.
branded for life. Like,
It's
what do
not.
you? That's not rehabilitation. You're gonna.
And beyond that, I mean, like isn't in the Constitution like part of it is you have to have like it's like a fair punishment or it's not. It's a
Yeah,
So
you
I
have to have
forget-
a fair punishment.
forget
That's
what-
something in the Constitution.
I forget the exact wording, but to have a felony on your record like that, even if it's non-violent, even like in this case, like he wasn't really doing anything. I mean, I'm assuming. I don't know if he was corrupt or if he did anything like incredibly wrong.
He wasn't doing anything violent.
But
at
he
least.
definitely wasn't doing anything violent, and he was in a position to have a really, really, really good life. And it seems as though, again, this could be just the power of, the film, the filmmaking or whatever it is that is persuading us one way or the other. But
I don't know, the interview on this interview, like, you should watch this interview, like, he
Mhm.
grilled him, like, it wasn't an easy interview.
Okay.
It definitely was not biased, like, that, like, and I was surprised, like, he fucking grilled him.
he was like, "So did you fucking not pay your taxes?" And then he was like, "Yeah, I didn't pay my taxes."
No, it was more like, are you just doing this for money? And he was like,
Maybe.
no. Like, he, like, runs a nonprofit, apparently he hasn't actually made a profit in, like, years. And then another good question that the interview asked was, like, well, you were in, like, the good part of the prison, like...
Does that make you like unqualified to be the spokesperson?
Yeah, and, like, and the thing that he brought up is, like, it's still, like, taking your freedom away, like, you
Yeah.
can't leave.
Yeah.
It's not like you can fucking, like, leave the prison. Of course, like, you have a lot more freedom than other
Do
people.
you get conjugal visits?
I'm not sure if it's conjugal visits. But, like, just imagine being in this size room. Like, how big is this room? Like, maybe, like, 15 by,
This
like...
would be a huge jail cell.
Yeah, I'm just
Be a
saying.
huge prison cell.
Imagine being
It's like
even...
a suite.
I know, but
I
imagine
get to be
being
put away in
locked
a
in
suite.
here. Like, imagine being locked in here for 3 years.
Oh, I'd lose my shit.
Exactly.
I'd lose
Like,
my mind, yeah.
Where did I put that?
and another shitty part is like, I know, like, we're white or whatever, so I mean, like, we're lucky. But,
Aiden, you ruined the surprise.
like, black people, if a black person and a white person commit the same crime,
Really, Aiden
Black
and
people are
Justin
gonna
and
fucking-
Austin are all white.
black
Yeah.
people are gonna get put away longer by the, like, it's just fucked up. Like,
Well, yeah.
that's, like, what I think should happen is, like, we need to come up with a certain set time that you get in prison for each crime, like, and, like,
Okay,
you
but
can't
that's a
deviate from that.
dangerous thing because, okay, I've heard a lot of different
And drug
stories.
crimes, non-violent drug crimes, you shouldn't go to jail.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean, yeah. Unless you're distributing massive amounts of a substance, like, you
and
know.
even that, I don't. Really,
Even that, you shouldn't go to jail. Even that, I
Yeah,
don't know, just
like even working in, substance abuse and all those sorts of things. I am not a proponent for any sort of prohibition or prohibitory laws. I feel as though the criminalization of drug use and of distributing drugs,
Yeah.
it plays a large role in.
yeah. Like, why would you criminalize something that's a fucking illness?
Well, it plays a large role in the drug problem because it creates an environment where now you're involved with the criminal element, regardless of whether or not you want to or not. And that kind of feeds itself and becomes a more, as you move up in that world, you become more violent in that world, and it's just like that whole system is fucked up. So I don't think that there should be jail time attached to those things. I think that if you want to punish people for those sorts of things, punish them financially. They're not paying taxes on those sales or distribution, so you should just
that's also a thing that they brought up in the interview.
Take all their fucking assets, and then put them in a higher tax bracket for the rest of their life. That'll really punish them. That'll punish them in a way that doesn't drain our system, and also
it feeds it
very effectively punishes somebody.
Yeah.
But we're not there yet.
No, we're not.
And
I know, but to play the devil's advocate, like, couldn't those people just see that tax bracket as like the cost of business? Like they're like, oh, it's just a business cost, and they just go on doing it.
Yes, they could, and they can continue doing it. I think that that's okay.
So like in that,
I think that's okay.
Then my question's done. Then I was gonna say like, well, they're just gonna continue. Like that doesn't completely.
We're never. If you feel
and the fucked up thing is like people need to understand this. The war on drugs, like. There's always going to be drug problems no matter what. It's a human thing.
Not necessarily.
It's never going to completely go away.
There are some places that have I forget, was it Portugal?
It's Portugal or like Uruguay or something.
They completely decriminalized all substance abuse, and all the money that was going into they decriminalized all drug use, and then all the money that was going into the war on their war on drugs went into rehabilitation programs, methadone clinics, and like job work opportunities. And they have like zero problem with it. It has effectively killed their problems. And the heroin in Canada,
it's never gonna happen in the US,
in Canada. They started prescribing heroin. They started like you can go and like get heroin if you have a hair. Oh yeah. They started.
That's
insane. That's pretty rad.
I forget exactly where at in Canada, but again, it completely eradicated the problem. It completely and totally eradicated the problem. And it's like...
But who's paying for the heroin?
Fuck it, who cares? If you wanna effectively solve a...
Yeah, but the fucked up thing is the people who beg the argument, who's paying for it, the people who say that are conservative people, and they're against
that's fine.
Drug use
fine.
In general.
They can be against drug use all they want, but as a conservative individual, they should be against prohibitory laws.
Exactly.
The main idea of conservativism
and
is
the thing is
that's the irony.
Everybody's hypocrites, like no matter what.
Well,
like,
this is true, but the irony is that like the whole ideal of being a conservative has become this weird radical Bill O'Reilly. Obama's not gonna take my guns from me. I hate faggots. Like that's what it's turned into, and that's not.
Here at the Group Therapy Podcast, we do hate faggots.
We hate faggots.
No, we don't. I want to go on. Whatever. I want to go on the record for saying.
This bitch on wax.
I'm gonna go on record and say that me personally do not have a problem with homosexuals.
Aiden loves fags.
Pussy.
Hey, fuck you. My uncle is a gay man.
I don't know. I want to take the word back.
He's one of the greatest guys I know. So.
I just really want to take back faggot.
I'm gonna judge people on how they act. That's me. That's my personal opinion.
Yeah.
If somebody's a douche,
I think that
no matter what, they're a douche.
Aiden's gonna hate me.
I don't know. No, the thing is if you're like an outright racist or an outright like
that's homophobe,
I don't fucking care. Like that's your opinion. My personal opinion is, I don't have a problem with I don't have a problem with anybody of anything. Like,
what's funny is that I've been talking to this girl, and about 2 weeks ago, she came over to my place. We were just gonna like watch a movie or whatever, and
Netflix and chill.
Exactly. And so she came over, and my folks were home, and so she walks in, and we're all hanging out for a little bit. It turned into like a 45-minute conversation, and immediately, like literally 10 minutes into it, my father starts, like everybody says, when they go to Thanksgiving, they're entertained by their like slightly racist uncle. That's my father. And my father immediately, like 10 minutes into us talking about something, starts talking about like black people and like various racially charged subjects. And it was odd. It was uncomfortable. But, I don't know, man. I guess I have a hard time jiving with a lot of really.
Okay, hold on. Ted Cruz won the caucus, by the way.
Oh,
Donald Trump did not win.
Thank God.
Okay, FYI, we are doing this right now, and apparently the Iowa caucus just finished, like, literally moments ago. Iowa caucus 2016.
Donald Trump says he is honored to finish in second.
I mean, the Iowa caucus has never really been,
No, it
been
doesn't
good
mean
for
shit.
predictors. I mean, like, I remember, I think it was, what is it? It was the last election that Ron Paul won the Iowa caucus, and he had no chance.
He didn't come anywhere close.
You know, so I'm not really, like, too invigorated by it, but I really
don't think any of us are very invested in it.
But I want to know what's going on with Bernie.
I do. Isn't it Republican, or is it both? Is it both parties?
I thought it was just Republican.
It was just the Republican caucus.
Who the fuck
I think it's both because
both?
they had a thing going on tonight with.
I didn't know. Oh, either way, I'm just glad that Trump didn't get the nod quite yet.
Whatever. Anyways, what I was saying is that, you know, I have a hard time jiving with a lot of, like, the really radical journalistic style stuff. Because a lot of it is so...
Like Vice.
Exactly. A lot of it is so unbelievably just crazy. And a lot of it is good shit, okay? I will say that. But then there is a portion of it that's so, like, strangely propaganda type shit. And it's, you know, I grew up in a really conservative household, man. I have a hard time when I see somebody, you know, what... Yeah.
I have a hard time hearing that coming from you, since you're such a big Hunter S. Thompson fan. He's like the pioneer of that style of journalism.
I did.
And he's radical and biased and crazy,
He
and
was
possibly crazier and more radical and more biased than any of the people that we have doing that style of journalism now. So it's really difficult for me to believe with any sincerity that you believe that you think that way. Well, here's the thing.
So Hunter was... I got way into Hunter like most people did when they started doing drugs. So I just got into Hunter, if I'm being honest, because I'm like, this is some crazy shit that, like, so the one kid that, like, I had some classes with in high school that, like, was the first kid to do, like, a lot of acid, and he was the first to, like, talk about, like, spiritual enlightenment kind of bullshit. We both know him. And
Milo? Oh,
and,
he's a cool dude.
Yeah, he was a cool guy.
He had a seizure at a light post once. Fucking had his license taken away for like a year because of it.
But anyway, so he was the guy that, like, he was spouting some shit about this guy named Hunter S. Thompson. And I went and looked it up, and I'm looking at all this shit. I'm like, God, this is fucking bizarre. Who the fuck would ever be into any of this? Fast forward, like, 8 months, and all of a sudden, Hunter Thompson is awesome. Hunter Thompson's my guy. And, like, even though it's been, like, honest, like, really and truly, like, it's been fucking, like, probably a year since I've done any kind of drug at all. Like, I'm still
Alcohol
into
is a drug, Austin.
Oh, go fuck yourself. But, you know, Hunter Thompson's still, like, and here's the thing. He was so unbelievably ignorant. And he owned it to the point where, you know... And that's the one thing I have to say that I like about Donald Trump. I'm sorry. He owns his ignorance beautifully. He can sit there and say, yeah, you didn't endorse me, and now you lost your fight, Ronda Rousey. So you're a loser. You'll always be a loser. Like, that's hilarious. And, like, Hunter Thompson would say...
But that's not what a politician is.
No, it's not. I'm just saying it's funny, Aiden. Don't overthink it.
Of course it's funny.
But, so, and guys like Hunter Thompson, like, he'd be driving a car, like, he'd be driving, like, a mid-70s Cadillac, and he'd be writing about it, and something would break because he's treating it like a fucking stock car, and all of a sudden, he will go off on a 20-minute screaming tangent about how Americans are doomed because their auto industry sucks. Turns out the auto industry did suck, but at the same time, it's funny. That's one of the things I respected about him, is he was able to take a situation that was kind of odd to begin with.
Or fictional.
Exactly. And he would just blow it up to such a ridiculous
I don't know if you want to hear this or not, but they don't really teach any of his shit in colleges anymore.
No, of course they don't. No, I mean...
Same with Hemingway. It's kind of sad.
Yeah, I mean, well, the difference is Hunter, I think you can look at, and you should. I think Hunter should be read in some schools and some high schools or whatever. But like,
they're not gonna.
Hemingway
they're not
should
gonna do that
absolutely be like taught, and that's the problem. I don't know.
They don't. We read Hemingway in my high school senior
I don't
class.
know. Same thing. I think
But,
guys like Bukowski, Charles
Nope,
Bukowski.
they definitely do not talk about him.
I love Charles Bukowski, and they're not going to talk about him in high school because it's like there's some sexually deviant charged shit in his.
They're not going to talk about him in college either because
Why?
he's offensive. That's why.
Well, yes.
So is Hemingway. Hemingway's a misogynist, apparently.
Yes, he was. What the fuck? Who cares?
I know that's the thing that sucks. Like you
Feminists.
can't censor anything.
Go fuck yourself. This is history. What we're looking at is some of the greatest literature that's ever been created by a fucking human being.
I
Let me
was
stop
go
you
to
right
that
there. Let me
point.
stop you right there. So was Mein Kampf.
I never read it. I don't know.
I'm just saying, if
Did
you want to
read it?
if you want to like make the argument, you have to also like
Well, sure. Then,
adopt the other side of it, which is
Yes.
like, yeah, make him read Hitler.
dude, I should have been forced to read Hitler. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Somebody should have said, "Hey, this guy was an evil motherfucker that was deranged."
Isn't that kind of dangerous though? Because I mean, when the Germans read Hitler, I mean, we all saw where that went.
Yeah, so no, I'm serious, man. This is history. History shouldn't be filtered. It is what exists to prevent us from repeating it.
Isn't there a pervasive text that is dangerous in the wrong hands?
I don't think so. Like, really. I think if you can't handle knowledge, that's your own problem. Granted, some people can't. You know what I mean?
I just
Some
think that
people are
I can
gonna-
understand. I can understand the viewpoint that some people may hold when there's people going.
Also,
around.
Bernie Sanders came in second place.
Okay, whatever. But I can understand the viewpoint that some people might hold when our country is like being rocked with mass shooting after mass shooting after mass shooting, that they maybe don't want to, teach like what could be described as like hate speech or incredibly purposefully offensive literature in that climate.
See,
Whether it's right or wrong, I am. I'm kind of playing devil's advocate here in that regard.
Obviously, that's
I'm
exactly
playing devil's
right.
advocate in that regard, but I can definitely see and understand.
See,
where
there's a
that
difference
came
between being purposely offensive, which I think is completely fucking stupid, aka Donald Trump, purposely offensive,
Yep.
completely fucking stupid.
completely fucking stupid.
There's a difference between being purposely offensive, and think about the time era when Hemingway was writing.
Well, I mean, no, yes and no, because those guys are extraordinary examples.
Yeah,
Of
I
course,
agree.
you cannot say that they are a snapshot of what that life was
that
like.
time
of
period.
No, I'm not
Yeah.
saying I'm just think about the time and like, I'm not saying that's like the be all end all. Like I'm just saying like it wasn't thought of as
Yeah.
offensive. It might have been thought of as offensive back then, but not as offensive as it is today.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. So like back then, like if he was a writer nowadays, he wouldn't be able to get away with any of that shit.
Yeah,
No, he wouldn't.
probably not. No, not until. Here's the thing: until you have a big name, you really can't do what you want.
Well, no, actually, I would make the argument in the opposite sense. I mean, a lot of our media is becoming.
Yeah, if you have a big name, you can't do anything.
Well, no.
I would say.
I'm arguing for the flip side. We're kind of in a lot of different ways in a new golden age for a lot of different mediums.
Well, because of
Because
one
of the
word,
fact-
internet.
Because of the internet, exactly. And there's an oversaturation of pretty much all mediums
Mhm.
to the point where you could get away with nearly whatever you want
Yeah.
in them, because since there's so many players in the game right now, like with music, with and it's the cost of production and the cost to enter those sorts of
Nothing.
fields is nothing.
Literally nothing.
That you can.
For example,
That he could get away with it. Now, would he have the same notoriety or the same impact? No.
right.
No. Those guys would
That's
not
what I
have
was
the same,
saying. He
those
wouldn't
guys would
be
not have the same
mainstream.
notoriety or the same impact, but they could get away with saying those same things.
Yeah, he could get away with it, but it wouldn't be he wouldn't have as wide of an audience.
No, definitely not.
It'd just be like some weird ass fuckers sitting in their basement reading it.
The same fuckers that would listen to this.
Exactly. That's what I was gonna say. For example, right now, okay, we're recording this on a computer with a microphone attached to it.
If you can make the argument that this is some sort of fucking miracle that we're doing this, I swear to God, Austin, I'm going to punch you in the face.
What the fuck? Why are you gonna punch me in the face?
I hate it when people talk like that. It is the most obnoxious thing.
This is a blessing that we're partaking in right now. But no, what I'm
We
saying
shouldn't
is
take
that
this for granted, this miracle that is bequeathed upon us.
I'm just saying, I'm gonna spill some dumb shit right
Dude,
now.
You've
which
been
is
no,
dumb
don't even
shit for
spill
the
it.
last hour
Don't
and a
even
half.
spill it because literally we are nothing. Like we're fucking nothing right now.
Boom.
Like who fucking
Bam!
cares?
Pow!
Like
No, nobody fucking cares. But here's the point. The point is, if I was somebody else, okay, if I was fucking, who the fuck's famous? I don't know. If I was fucking,
after we get done talking for like 45 minutes about like famous artists, like
if I'm like Drake or some shit, if I'm Ryan fucking Gosling and I sit down and I talk into this microphone, I fucking upload this bitch to YouTube or some shit, immediately millions and millions and millions of people are going to be able to listen to it. That's amazing. Nobody, at no other point in history has the world been so connected, which has given an opportunity significant.
Thank you, Austin, for enlightening us on things that we already know about.
Yeah, no
I really
fucking shit.
appreciated it. You know, we started talking about Vice,
Yeah, we started talking about Vice.
and then you had to go.
when you start talking about Vice, it can literally go in any direction.
I get that. I get that.
Then we started talking about Hunter. Then we started talking about Hemingway.
I
We started talking about
apologize.
Hitler.
I apologize. I shouldn't have brought Hunter into the conversation. My bad.
Pretty sure that was like some bait for me to say some shit, but like, so I
He was
did,
baiting
but
you, dude.
He was baiting me to get some conversation in. But I don't know. I'm really happy that lower budget. I mean, granted, they're not so lower budget anymore.
Austin, you're gonna make me fart again. You're gonna make me do it. Don't fucking tempt me with this bullshit. I know it's a big miracle.
It's an interesting time when
He can't help himself.
He won't stop. He won't stop. Please stop. You fucking kidding
Fucking
me?
help himself with this
You just can't. You
pseudo-philosophical
just can't
bullshit.
stop. We've told him to stop like 20 times. He just won't stop. He'll keep going back to it
Where are
no matter
things to
what.
throw? Hey, fuck you.
I'm going to the bathroom again.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
Ah.
I think that's a good place to cut it. Aiden, do you want to say goodbye from the bathroom?
Say goodbye.
Okay, bye.
Wow. Okay, that was good. All right, everybody. First episode of Group Therapy Podcast back in session. Class is back in session, motherfuckers. Justin,
Yeah.
close this bitch out.
All right. See ya.
Right on.